My father, Leroy Knight Sr., was a soldier in the U.S. Army. One tour of Korea, 3 tours of Vietnam, all in the 173rd Airborne Brigade, the big red one. He came home decorated and determined to create me, little Leroy Jr. As a child, my father read me bedtime stories with happy endings that let me sleep without nightmares. He never told me any war stories. For my father, the facts of war are written in words like search and destroy, kill ratio, body count, and a fictionalized friendship with a covert ally named Agent Orange who he reigned over the skies of Vietnam. A mixture of 2 deadly chemicals, odorless, tasteless, destroying all foliage, withering the limbs of trees and children. Malformed infants born without hands, eyes, or breath. Growing up, my mother told me never to ask him for war stories. She says it's enough to know he did his duty, defending democracy by default. The world that we live in is not shaped by what we celebrate and mythologize, but by the painful events that we try to forget. So my father guided me on a different path, away from nightmares and towards happy endings that he never had in life. He didn't want to bring the war into his home. But like a jealous shadow swallowing light because it hates the man that cast it, war followed him back from Vietnam. Sitting silently in his gut, an undetonated mortar finally exploding, leaving his family shell-shocked from the doctor's words, Command Sargent Major Leroy Knight Sr. has inoperable terminal cancer. Agent Orange declared war on his organs. His hospital bed, a battlefield. Seizures lifted his body like grenades blew up inside of him. His head, a free fire zone. Short, controlled bursts of medication as strokes splintered his brain like a sniper shot. He forgot everything but his own dementia. Like an amputee given new legs with landmines for feet, my father just gave up on walking. I sat silently holding his hand like an orphaned echo, waiting for my father to say anything. Can you hear me, Dad? He couldn't read me any bedtime stories to save me from nightmares. He couldn't even say goodbye. His tears dug into me like hot shrapnel, screaming with a whisper. A son should never have to see his father die like this. But I had to live with war and to see its aftermath. Leroy Knight Sr. survived 26 combat missions only to be killed by friendly fire that took a lifetime to consume him. When a soldier dies, his family can never rest in peace. The VA would pay for the funeral and the 21-gun salute that followed, but his family would cover the cost of the cancer. He gave this country his life and received a press-folded flag and medical bills in return because the government loves the fanfare of war heroes, but hides its scarred soldiers because it's so much easier to create martyrs out of memories. In that war, this war, or any war, there are no unwounded soldiers. Since his death, my name reminds my family that one of us is missing in action. Now I know my dad never told me any war stories. They don't have happy endings.